And welcome to Family Meeting. This is brought to us by Family Center Africa, also known as the Center for Sex Education and Family Life. This is an organization that is a subsidiary to Praise Forward International. And all we do here is to assist individuals and families find peace and wellness within themselves and in their society. We are also into gender-based violence advocacy and child sexual abuse advocacy. We also have in place counseling and therapy sessions for those that are interested. Thank you for those that have joined us. Thank you for those that have been reaching us for counseling. I want to believe that you can attest that it's been an awesome ride. 2021 has been a beautiful one. Without wasting much of our time, we're going to start this meeting because our guest will have to leave at some point because she has another engagement. We have our speakers in the house. We have Praise Forward in the house. We have Sumbo Adeoye in the house. And we're going to start. I'm going to start with Sumbo Adeoye. She's already in the house and I'm going to read her profile. Then we welcome her to the stage. This morning we're talking co-parenting. We're talking co-parenting, and we believe that if a marriage breaks down, that does not mean the love for the child or children should break down. And we have seen a lot of marriages breaking down and the children not turning out right. And we have also seen people that have made it work. We have people, Sumbo is a wonderful person. She's doing it well, and that's why we are inviting her to come and share our experience. Sumbo Adeoye is also known as the game changer. She is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, the CEO and chief creative director of ESOP Events and founder of ESOP Heroes. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. She has several books to her name, including the best-selling self-help guide book titled Parenting a Creative Child, and the most recent one, a memoir titled Refurbished Hope for a Fresh Start. She's a verified certificate holding member of Harvard class of 2020, a graduate of accountancy and finance, and also an alumni of Lagos Business School. Sumbo is the convener of the annual Inspiring Change Conference, a platform where she deliberately impacts knowledge, inspire change, and transform the lives of men and women in business with a focus on nation building. They just finished the conference like last week, and following her on the social media, it was a wonderful gathering. Welcome to the family meeting. This is a March edition. This meeting we have every month, every last Saturday of the month, and this morning we'll be treating co-parenting, and that is why you are here to share your story with us. Good morning, Sumbo, and welcome to the platform.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear me, everybody. It's such a privilege to be able to share. Thank you, Mr. Praise Forward. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having me. And I'm glad to be here. And I hope that God Almighty will take all the glory and fill my mouth with wisdom. I sincerely apologize that you cannot see my face. That's because I just finished a prayer retreat now with the Ladies Fellowship of our church, and I have a wedding next. So, but you have my attention, but my background is not as solid as I would want it to be because I'm also doing something here. Okay, so if that is fine by you, I hope it's okay to have my audio where we manage my picture as the visuals for now. Is that fine, ma?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if that's okay by you. Okay. That's fine. Thank you. We can hear you loud and clear. And
thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. So we start. Let me start with this question. So co-parenting is one critical area that people have fought dirty over, yes, but which you have managed so well. How did you achieve this?
Oh, well, I bless the name of the Lord because usually this is something nobody chooses to. We don't intentionally choose to be co-parents. You know, we all want to have that family that is balanced, and we just want to have it. But I have been co-parenting for the past 10 years, and to the glory of God, in as much as it's not an arrangement that I would love, God has helped me. And I feel I have been able to do it because of some level of maturity. And I want to say spiritual maturity, because I didn't get it right too in the beginning. I didn't get it right. There used to be loggerhead. Where will the children be? How come the children are not here? All those kind of things. But over time, we learn to realize that it's not about us, and we need to co-parent in such a healthy way so that it does not affect the wellness of the children, because it is the children that matter. And whatever arrangement we do as parents, even though we have chosen different spouses or different life path, we should always remember that it is the children and their well-being that matter. So one thing I think helped me is maturity. And I want to say that spiritual maturity also, because there are so many things that would happen along the line, and you would, if you want to do it by, how will I put it, by the flesh, you would react instead of respond. Over the years, I've learned not to react, but to respond. Responding is doing what you need to do right. Reacting is reacting out of what you feel. I don't even know how to explain this, but I'm sure that the Holy Spirit would help you to understand what I'm trying to say. That what has helped me is maturity. I respond instead of reacting. What is important is what I do, not how I am interpreting the language or the communication or the body language of my ex. I hope that I hope that explains it.
Yes, thank you very much. So I can pick two or three things there. You talked about intentionality, you talked about maturity, which you
Yes.
and you've learned to respond instead of reacting.
Yes.
Reacting
Yes.
can take us into the negative place. Thank you very much. Thank you
Exactly.
very much.
You're
That's
welcome, ma.
precise. That's
You're
so
welcome.
on point. Okay, so why do you think a lot of Nigerians struggle with co-parenting when love breaks down? Why do we have to go through the awkward feelings and
Well, I know when
yes.
love fails, or should I say when it breaks down, usually either party or both parties are bitter. They are bitter, and at that point, they now take it, they take co-parenting as a yardstick to
Come
get
on, Rob.
back
Come on,
to their
Rob.
ex. You understand? They want to use it as a bait to
Yes.
get back to their ex, but that's not the right way to co-parent. A lot of people they struggle with it because they have refused to get their feelings out of the way. So in order for you to co-parent very well and in a very, very cooperative manner, you need to get your feelings out of the way. Get it out. Don't vent. Usually I have seen this play out in so many excuse me, so many homes. And when they reach out to me and ask me questions, I tell them, stop venting. Stop venting about your ex to your children. It is not their own things to worry about. Don't build, don't keep the issues to yourself and resolve it amicably. If, except of course your partner is a very toxic one, then you take it to court. Don't take it to social media. Avoid taking issues like that to social media. Avoid using your kids as messenger. Avoid using your kids as bait. Okay, and honestly, people find it hard because they cannot draw the line. It's no longer, yes, it's the parents, of your child, but is no longer your spouse. So keep it like business. Speak professionally. When you're speaking to them, make it short and sharp. Some Nigerians, and I want to say Nigerians because I feel it is very peculiar to our culture, they struggle with it because they expect the guy that is gone to still be nursing his role as their spouse, and it is not done. He has picked another person, or maybe he has moved on. He cannot nurture your relationship the way you were used to it. He can only do his part as a parent if you allow him, and if you communicate how he can be a parent. Because a lot of people are just lost. They don't even know how to fit in anymore because there are no rules. So if you want co-parenting to work for you, you have to set the rules. How are we going to be handling it? Okay, where will the children live? Are they going to live with you because it's closer to their school? Are they going to live with you because you have the moral, how will I put it, the moral stand to be able to nurture them in the way we want them to grow? Like in my own case now, when we started co-parenting, I made the choice. I chose my children. I said, okay, I'm choosing my children. So my children live with me. But then we have been able to set the rules of, okay, when they are now on break, maybe Christmas, they'll spend Christmas with you. Crossover into New Year, they're spending it with me. Now we were able to agree to that because crossover, I am a pastor and my husband is also a pastor. And so we pray into the new year. So I would say, okay, let them spend Christmas with you. I am busy during Christmas because we're having back-to-back services in church. And although it's also his busy season, but we find a way to ensure that the children have fun. Then we ask the children questions. When would you like to spend Christmas? Because it's not really about our schedule. It's not about what we want. It's about what we need to do right by the children and what is healthy for them. So we get our own feelings out of the way. It's not about us anymore. We communicate ways with which we can now parent these children the right way so that they can turn out to be the best kind of people in that is stable enough with good moral backgrounds and good everything for the society. So if you want to be able to find it easy as a Nigerian that is co-parenting and you don't want to struggle with it, all you need to do, get your feelings out of the way. Stop venting about your ex. Stop discussing what is not working with your children. They don't need to know. It's not their own, it's not something they need to discuss. It's none of their problem. So don't bring them into the picture and don't use your children as a bait to get back to your ex. For example, if he wants to be with them, and I understand that, oh, his schedule does not allow him that much privilege or time to be with them, and he requests for them in an awkward time, for example, maybe exam season, I like to explain to him the reason why the children may not be able to come, not that they cannot come. Do you understand? So the way you communicate matter. The way you communicate matter. If I try to communicate to him and he's not getting it, I try his wife. I try to explain to her because she's a woman. So if, for example, if your own ex is now married, you can be friends with the other woman if, I mean, both of you have some level of understanding, because co-parenting can be difficult if you choose war. So choose friendship and make it very civil, make it professional. No long conversation, no long talking over the phone, no long texting. Just communicate, whichever one works for you. Some get upset that I've been calling him for several days, not picking. Do you know what he is going through or what he is doing? If you call and he's not picking, send text. If he's not responding, document everything you want to say and find a way to get it across. Just communicate as much as you can. I hope I've been able to answer that question.
Yes, you have. If I can hear you clearly, you said people struggle, Nigerians especially struggle with co-parenting because they are not able to separate their emotions, their feelings with the situation on ground. Thank you very much. So while you were talking, you also mentioned the fact that you can be friends with them, but you have to make it brief. So this is my next question. Is friendship possible? You have answered that, but how do we handle such? You have mentioned that friendship is possible even with the new wife. So how
Oh,
do we answer?
friendship is
How do we?
possible.
Yeah,
You know,
because we
I
have
started
people
with
here. We have people here that are in this situation presently, and we want them
yes.
to learn from this. So I want you to explain maybe how you went about it and all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the question is friendship possible after a bitter breakup? You see,
Yes.
that bitterness is what you need to first deal with. If you don't deal with the bitterness, you cannot be friends. See, when two elephants are fighting, it is the grass that suffers. So think about the children. Get that bitterness out of the way, because your action and inaction will affect them. It will. It will affect them so much. So get bitterness out of the way. Have the mind of God. And I mean, see, I feel it is the God factor that has helped me. Because if I didn't allow the bitterness to leave, one would remain resentful for the rest of one's life. And it's not even a good thing to allow that much space in your heart, the space of hatred in your heart because somebody left you, or because somebody moved, or somebody is not doing his responsibility or our responsibility. No, just find a way, find a level ground to ensure that you get the bitterness out of the way. And this is how I've been able to handle it. Having the mind of Christ. People would advise you and say, call them all sorts of names. Tell them what they are doing to you is not fair. If you listen to people, you would always hate. You would always feel this bitterness. But if you allow the mind of Christ fill your heart, you will forgive in advance. You will find a way to love. And see, the more that you show love, now when I say the word love, I'm going by the love of God. They that do not love does not know God, because God himself is love. So when you know God, you would naturally just love your neighbor. You see them because they are actually family. You have to learn to love. So get the bitterness out of the way. Show love just because. And by God's grace, you will be able to handle whatever toxicity. Now, I need to state this, that there are different types of parents, co-parents. I'm talking about your ex now. There are the toxic ones and there are the level-headed ones. If it is the toxic ones, it can be very, very hard, because then you have to now dine with a long spoon. But this, I would advise that you make sure you document everything in case they want to be sneaky. Document everything. If you have to go to court, go to court and have maybe an order that the court has agreed to, and live by it. Don't try to cross the boundary. Just live by it. If you feel bringing legal making it a legal matter would make it easier for you because of the toxicity of the ex, please make it legal. Just make sure that you have some sort of arrangement that is healthy for your own mental health, for the upbringing of the children, and for the family in totality. I hope I've been able to answer that.
Thank you very much. You have been able to answer that. It's getting deeper here. If you have questions, I want you to drop your questions in the chat box while we take notes. And after the interview, after the talk, we'll be able to, and Sumba will be able to answer the questions. Okay, so talking about is it possible after bitterness? Can we still be friends? She said it, that you need to let go of bitterness.
Yes.
We can still be friends, but you need to let
Yes.
go of bitterness.
Yes.
Things cannot be the same way as it used to be, but you can still be friends. Thank you so much. So coming to blended family, Sumbo, because the way you're talking is
Yes.
as if you guys have blended your family, or you're working on it, something like that, because you interact with your ex's wife. And
Yes,
that's
I
how
do.
it comes. So blended family is becoming very visible in Africa. What's the best way to handle this without the children becoming confused?
All right, thank you so much for this question. I'm just going to cite an example of what works for us. There was a particular time when, I told you that it's a work in progress. It did not start like this. There was a particular time we were talking on the phone. My ex's wife had an issue with her child, and I was reaching out to them. because whichever way we look at it, we're family. So I heard about the child having to go for surgery. So I called in to pray with them and to just share some confessions with them. And I told the boys, my children, to speak with her. And they were like, auntie. I just stopped to them. I said, sorry, is she your auntie? They said, no, mommy. I said, so why are you calling her auntie? Who is she? They replied, well, she was on the phone. It was on speaker. They replied and said, she is mama. I said, so henceforth you call her mama. The reason why I did this was the fact that it is what you call a thing that it manifests back to you. If you continue to call somebody who God has placed in your life as your mother, if you call her auntie, she would act as auntie to you. But if you call her mama, she has no choice than to act like mother to you. So that helped us. So each time I tell them, I say, you are so blessed, because people would ask them in school. I mean, they have grown now, they are teenagers now, but before now, it wasn't like this. People would ask them, they are confused. Who is your daddy? Is it your two-faced daddy or your pastor daddy? Like, they're so confused. They don't even understand this. So they asked me and I tell them, I said, you are so blessed. God looked at you and feel this boy deserves two daddies and two mommies.
Wow.
Four grandpas and four grandmas. So when it is time for birthday, you get 4 gifts for 4 grandpas, 4 gifts from 4 grandmas, 2 gifts from 2 daddies, 2 gifts from 2 mommies. Don't you think you are more blessed? So when people ask you, you tell them that you are so blessed and God decided to give you double. So instead of making it look like it's a shameful thing or projecting the disadvantages, why don't you project the advantages? Because there are so many blended families. They call it blended families. I call it marriages starting with children. It is only God that has given us the grace to be able to blend it. But if it's not going to blend, there's nothing we can do. So we try our best and then we ask God to just bless whatever effort we're doing. Now, this is it. I commend my ex and his spouse, because they have also made it easy. Like I said, we didn't start from here. So let me not make it sound like it's a walkover. You just set the rules. No, it wasn't rosy, especially when it comes to who the children will be with and all that. And we had to just discuss it. I said, your schedule is very tight. My schedule is not as tight as your schedule. Why don't you give me the privilege to be able to nurture my children the right way and see if they will not come out the right way? Just trust me and trust their care with me and my husband for now. See them as though you have put them in boarding house and they are. So today you will call and thank me and my husband and say things like, these boys are so matured. I like them. They are well behaved. He will call me and say, thank you, Sumbo. His wife will say the same thing. And so over the years, they have been able to see the result of these children staying, or should I say, living with myself and my husband. And the same thing I did with them calling his wife mama. They also call my husband daddy. So it is the same thing. When each time you want to throw a stone, look at it. Like I will say in my language, Efirorai. If it comes back to you, if the tables turn, would you not want it to be that way? If they are calling my own husband daddy, why can't they call his wife mommy? I mean, it's just normal. Some women will fight and say, but it's not their mother now. It's their mother. I mean, she's their mother. She's their mother. Whether you see it the way you want to see it or not, each time they go there, it's not daddy that will take care of them. It is that woman that you have refused to accept as their mother that will take care of them. So anytime they go there to stay, I ensure that I show that I trust them. You see, I told you that actions and inactions matter. If they are going there and I'm sending them with nanny, sending them with food, sending them with abba. So what I do is I let go. It wasn't easy because they were little when this whole journey started. So I would let them go. I would release them in the name of the Lord and say, just go and be the light of Christ wherever you are. No evil will touch you. It's not as if I'm expecting evil, but I'm praying against domestic accidents and all that will make the other party look bad. Because they are children, they will play anyway and they can fall. And it's not because they are bad parents that the children fell. The children can fall in my house, they can fall over there too. So we can only just pray that God will cover them and decree over them safety and all of that. So I let the other party know that I trust you with my children, because they are also your children. So over time, they have accepted them as their children too. So anytime they get there, they fit in, because I don't cook up stories in their mind to make them uncomfortable when they get there. There's no point. There's no point trying to paint or color the other party bad. It's not fair. So I don't do that. It is not godly, and I don't advise that anybody will do that. And that's the way we've been able to handle this without confusing the children.
Wow, wow. This is so awesome. You have really
Thank you
done,
so
you are
much.
really doing a good job. Thank you
Oh, God
so
has
much.
been good.
You
It's
you
a
you you
pleasure.
you are the real game changer. You're crushing and changing the status quo,
Glory
because
be to
in
God.
this environment where we are, Africa especially, I can imagine the things that will be going on, giving those children ideas so that by the time they also get there, they become suspicious. They don't want anybody to touch them
It
and
doesn't
all.
work.
And you are doing a great job. Well done.
Praise
And
God,
thank
ma'am.
you so much. Thank you very much for sharing
Oh, it's
your
a
world
pleasure.
with us on this
It's a
platform.
pleasure,
So I
ma'am.
want to also ask, so how do you have that conversation, the initial conversation with the children on why daddy and mommy are not together?
That one was hard though, because I told you they were little. They were very little. And Pastor married me when my first child was about 6, and my second son was going to 4. I think it was just 4. They were babies. Today they are teenagers. So it's been a journey. Explain it. Let me even go back to this one is funny, but let me tell you, since the Holy Spirit decided to remind me. So before we got married, we were living in grandma's house, and every time we go to visit and all that, my boys would say they don't want to go to grandma's house, they want to stay with daddy. But I know that I've made up my mind, I'm not staying here, and they are too little to live with a man that is single. So I'll say things like, okay, let's just go and get candy or something. My son will be like, I know we are going. I say, yes, we are going, but by the time we get the candy and you take the candy along the journey, you feel a lot better. And they will cry all through the journey. They will cry and cry and cry and cry. I'll beg them. So each time when we are back at home, that's in my mother's house, we will pray, and I'll say things like, very soon God will give us our own home. And then, my older son would just say, amen, mommy, I cannot wait for us to go to our own home. So I was trying to establish their heart to understand that there is a home that I am picturing, and they will fit in perfectly. It may not be home with the daddy that they are used to, but then they will fit in perfectly. So when I started dating Pastor, I'll bring them around him. He is our pastor now, so they're already used to him. They call him Papa then. They say, Papa, Papa. They always like to be around him. He'll play with them as well. So when it was time for me to get married, I told them that we are going to, that I'm getting married. They really did not understand what all that marriage concept and everything is. So they will say things like, they don't want to go back home to grandma's house anytime we go to spend time with Pastor. They'll say that they want to stay with Pastor. I say, very soon, don't worry, we will not be living anymore. We will be staying here. So my little boy then, Zion, was so excited that, you'll be living with Pastor. So they already had that excitement building up. Now, after marriage, after the wedding party, we needed to go for honeymoon. We cannot go with children. That was the funny part. So you see this gist I'm giving you, this one is behind the scene. I don't tell people, let me tell you, because this is a family meeting and I know somebody
It's
will
a
be
family
blessed.
meeting. Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and we went for honeymoon. And while we were on honeymoon, they had packed my clothes, I'd sent people to pack my clothes and take it to Pastor's house and all of that. My children saw them pack my clothes. They packed everything, even my shoes. And they know I love shoes. So they started crying that, mommy said God will give us our own home. Now God has given us, she has left us. They cried though. I now called in, while I was on honeymoon, I called in to speak to my mom. And then I said, how are they doing? She said, they've been crying. I said, please, let me speak to them. She now said, the little one has been crying. She said, my mommy packed everything, even her shoes. That means she's not coming back here again because she loves shoes. So I had to explain to them that no, I promised you that we are going to our own home, so I'm coming back for you. But where I am now is honeymoon. And in honeymoon, you don't go with children. It's just you and your husband. Say, okay, so when are you coming back from the moon? I said, don't worry, I'll be back very soon. And the moment we came back and I settled in, this settling in was not one day, it wasn't 2 days, it was weeks for me to be able to prepare our new home to receive them, because this is a marriage that is starting with children, and we went for counsel. You know, you cannot you can't eradicate the place of counsel if you are trying to do this and you want to do it well. So, you know, we got to know ourselves like husband and wife. Then it was right for us to bring the children in, and each time we communicate with them. And when I brought them in one day, we're in the kitchen, and I told my son, I said, remember, I said, God will give us our own home. God has given us our own home. He just hugged me. My husband came into the kitchen and saw us hugging ourselves. He was wondering, "Kilo shawele yo?" And we were just rejoicing at the prayer points that have become testimonies. So you need to carry your children along every step of the way. You need to have conversations with them, because they are also thinking. They are thinking, okay, now daddy has made his own choice. Mommy has made her own choice. Where do we fit in? During that where do we fit in period, don't assume that your children are children. They are not children. No, they have things that is going on in their own minds. They're asking themselves, oh, have they discarded us? Are they coming back for us? So I had to ensure that there is no what do they call this now? There is no silence. We always communicate with them. I speak with them and I ask questions so that I understand if they comprehend. I ask questions all the time. I ask questions like, would you want to go to Lekki? How long would you like to stay? Do you love it there? Do you have friends there? Do you feel comfortable whenever you are there? I just want you to be happy. Are you happy with us? Would you want it a different way? Because these children too have things they are pondering about. And sometimes they may be civil and not want to hurt you, but it is in the place of play that you get to hear what they are thinking about. So play with them. Have a healthy relationship with your children to the point where they can open up to you if they are not happy, wherever you toss them. And then please don't toss them anywhere, especially now where children can be violated and all these rape things are happening. Even though my kids are boys, I still ensure that I am there for them. I communicate with them. I know what they're going through, and the way they feel matters so much to me. It's not about me. It's more about them, without, of course, making my husband jealous. Today, God has blessed us with more children. So let me even shock you. Do you know that my son started writing his surname in school and started adding my husband's last name? And so the teacher called me and said, Mrs. Adeoye, don't confuse these children now. Why are you confusing them? This is their surname. I called her, I said, Madam, I am not confusing my children. I never asked them to do this. If they are doing it, it is their choice, and please leave it that way, because it has to be God that is working in them. So leave it that way. I said, if you don't understand anything, it's okay for you to call me, but don't judge me before calling me. So I said, this is not me telling them to do anything. This is their choice. I remember my son would say things like, they usually put handkerchief in their school uniform. And my husband has this branded handkerchief that has his name on it. Somebody did it for him in large numbers. So my younger baby would say, he's not a baby anymore. This baby I'm calling baby is a teenager now. He would say, Mommy, please let the David Adeoye show. Let it show up here. I want people to know, because he wants to dress corporate. He has seen Pastor dress corporate over time, and he has fallen in love with that brand, with his personal brand. So he wants to associate with the David Adeoye brand. So he will put his name. He was also named David. So he will put Adeoye in his name because he loves that brand. So I saw that we were starting to influence these children in a positive way. And today, to the glory of God, every time they get best behaved, well-dressed, star reader, all the things we are infusing in them is starting to manifest. And even their biological father is starting to recognize it, and he's thanking me for it. But it didn't start this way, or it didn't start this way at all. But I bless God for where we are, even as we are still a work in progress to where we are headed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sumbo. I really appreciate this. I appreciate it. It's not easy to get here. I can imagine what it was. And when you mentioned the fact that there are times the children don't even want to say some things because they don't want to hurt mom, I can imagine that level. And so as parents, we need to be careful how we relate, and we need to be sensitive to our children's feelings. And that was why she mentioned you don't react, you respond. When you go back a little, picture it in another way, and put them into consideration, then you will be able to know how to respond. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, you also said, you said at some point the experience you shared when you hugged one of your sons in the kitchen and pastor came in. I was like, this shows that you guys have a relationship.
Oh, we do.
Cannot overemphasize the fact that parents should have relationship with their children. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's a pleasure.
People, I want you to ask questions. Okay, I can see in the chat box. I want you to celebrate Sumbo. If you know, it's not easy. Celebrate her in the chat box. This is a woman you want to emulate. Very inspiring stories this morning. This is awesome. I can see somebody said sounds strange, but it is real. You can see it is real. It's real. Amazing game changer. I'm never tired of listening to her. You see those comments are coming in. Thank you so much, guys. Truly inspiring. So much to learn from this. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Sumbo, for coming.
It's a pleasure, Ma.
I really appreciate you. Somebody is saying really insightful. God bless you. The comments are coming in. I believe you can also see it.
Yes, I can.
So ladies, we can do it. Guys, we can do it. If the relationship breaks down, does not mean everything should just go apart. It's not, it doesn't sound well. It's hurting, and you carry this bitterness all through your life, and you transfer it to the children.
Yes.
With how,
see, in fact, let me quickly say this.
Yeah.
If you don't address it quickly, it can eat you up and you won't glow. It will affect your joy. It will affect your peace. And like I said in the beginning, nobody deserves that much space in your heart. So just understand that these children are not loyal. If you hold on to them, when they grow, they will go to where they want to go to. You see, this played out in the life of somebody close to me, and the man was denying her access to the children to the point where she could not have access to them for over 5 years. And she left the last child because of domestic violence. She left the last child on the day he turned 1. So she could not have access. Like, that was a baby she was leaving behind. And usually she would cry. She would say, this man is wicked. And we would just counsel her that it's time. Just give it time. Just give it time. Today, the children live with her. All of them. All of them live with her because it's time. You know, usually when it was 10 years later, I said, the time you have waited, the remaining time that these children will come back to you is not as much as the time you have waited for. Now you have done 10 years. Don't lose your mind, though, because your time of joy and reward is close. I said, you see, you cannot wait another 10 years before these children start coming, because they will be in university, they will be on holiday, and they will say they are going home. The man does not even know which home they will choose. So it is ensure that your mind is stable, your mental health is intact, so that when your time of reward comes, you will not be in the psychiatric home, or you will not have one health issue because of children or because of an ex that has moved on. So please, it may sound strange, but it's for your own health and wellness. Just choose peace. I usually tell a lot of people, it is a choice. It's a choice. Choose peace, choose love, choose understanding. Even if the other party chose to be crazy, leave them with their craze and pray for them. Pray for them. With time, they will understand that you mean well, and have a parenting plan. Parenting plan, schedule dates, parenting dates. Like, are they going to be like I shared my own, and that's just one out of many. When we're going for summer, they understand that these children are with me during summer. They are with me during summer all the time, so because we travel and we go with them. Now that we have more children, we don't say, oh, because these ones belong to so man, they will not travel with us. All of us go together. And during lockdown, something happened, and I want to quickly share, like, before I leave, because I have a wedding in 15 minutes. So
yeah, I'm also looking at the time.
let me share this. During the lockdown, I was heavily pregnant with my last baby, and I was having panic attacks. I was just like, I don't want to have anything to do with mainstream media. I don't want to know what's going on with COVID. And so I shut down my social media and all of that. And it was trying to reach them. So what we did was we got phones for these children so that he can reach them direct. You don't have to come through me. When the children grow up to a point, allow access to them directly. Don't say, oh, you'll be telling them bad things. You'll be telling them, they are not dummies. You have groomed them. Allow God to work the wonder in them. Just ensure that you are putting in the right things in your children's hearts. So when the wrong things come, it will not have a place to land. So we got them phones. He was talking to them, and he started telling them that now that everybody's on lockdown, he doesn't really have plenty time before. But now that there's lockdown, he now has all the time in the world, and he wants to spend it with them. And so he just said 3 to 4 days. And so I packed 3 to 4 days items and I sent them over. That 3 to 4 days went into 1 month. And usually we do not communicate. We don't we communicate, but we don't make calls. I don't call him. I may not call him in 1 year, but if there's any information I need to send, I send it through his wife, or I send it to him direct, like SMS. You understand? So when the lockdown came, 3 to 4 days, and I said, 3 to 4 days, okay, go. 3 to 4 days entered into 1 month. One day I was praying. Remember I said I was heavily pregnant. Yeah. And with the lockdown schedule, we sleep during the day, we are awake all through the night. So this particular day, I didn't even check the time at all. That was how the Holy Spirit told me I should check up on my children. I called their phones, Kolo. I called his wife, Kolo. I just called him. The moment I called him, he picked up, and I was like, sorry, my spirit man was just saying I should check on the children. How are they doing? And he started explaining to me something that happened. When he explained that thing that happened, and I decided to just chip in that, okay, I know this attitude now. Oh, you are just experiencing it because they have stayed with you long enough. You understand? So while we were having that discussion, we spoke for like 20 minutes. This has never happened in 10 years.
Wow.
So, and usually what I do is I call the wife, I carry the spouse along because she's the one taking care of them. I carry her along all the time. So this particular one, I just called out of the blue. It was when the call ended that I realized I had called in the middle of the night. I didn't even realize. I did not check. So she was wondering that, who are you speaking to? And he was like, I was speaking to someone. What are you people talking about? And she has every right to ask the question. So she called me. What are you people talking about now? You are my husband. Over 20 minutes. I said, I am so sorry. But in my character, I'll carry you along. So these things can happen, but the way you handle it matter. When she called me, I was like, what do you mean? How can you be asking me? Are my children not with you? No, that's not the right attitude. That's not the right attitude at all. So I first accepted that I was wrong to have called at that time, and I apologized. And I went further to explain the essence of my call. And then I told her the reason why I did not, it wasn't through her phone, because I had called and nobody, it wasn't ringing and it wasn't going through. And she acknowledged the fact that she put her phone on airplane mode because a lot of people were calling them for help at that time. And we resolved it. If you choose peace, you will resolve whatever thing. Because if you don't resolve it, it can escalate. It will enter social media now that somebody who is a married woman is calling her husband. And that is not good, because nobody will know the reason for the call. And I said this has never happened in 10 years. So anything the devil is trying to use to mess the relationship you have, or the image you have built over, just ensure that you choose peace. And have a heart to resolve rather than just react. I pray that God will help you in Jesus'
name. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know you have to go now because you have another engagement for 10 o'clock.
I see a question.
Yes, there's a question here.
You go legal. if the parent is non-responsive to any plan that gives the child the opportunity to grow healthy with both parents. You see, if the other person is toxic, go legal. I would not really recommend legal as the first thing. Try resolving it amicably, both of you. If it's not working, look for look for that higher authority that your ex
Have respect for.
Yes, that they have respect for, like their mentor, somebody that they hold in high esteem, and just discuss, not report. Don't report them. Just tell this person that this man does not understand the reason for this decision, or can you help us talk to him? If that does not work, then you can now go for counsel. Both of you look for parenting coach like Mr. Praise for and book a session and discuss. If that does not work, just go legal. JJ, let them draw a restraint order or a parenting order that will work for the two children. Above all, sincerely, all these things that we worry about, the children will not grow healthy. They will grow healthy now. They will. Don't worry. They'll be fine. When they are with you, do your own part. When they go, it's not that 1 day or 2 days or 1 week that they will spend with your ex that will mess up everything you have groomed into them. It won't happen. Just free your heart and be at peace. The children will be fine. If they go to boarding house, uncle, are you there? You are not there. It is what you have infused in them that you pray that they continue. So when they are with you, impact them. Put in them the fear of God. Let them know God. Let them love God. Let them know scriptures. Let them know what is moral and what is immoral. Let them know how to choose, how you choose. Because children will do what you do, not what you ask them to do. Let them see you choose. Let them see the place of prayer in your life. Let them see that anytime you are at loggerhead, you ask God. Let them know how you get answers from God. Discuss these things with them so that when they are at a crossroad, they know what to do too, whether you are there or not. What if you die now? What if you are not alive? They will live somewhere.
Absolutely.
Honestly, all these things that we worry ourselves about is because we are alive. If, God forbid, if one party dies today, it's the other party that will take care of them. And all these things you worry about, it may or may not happen. So just allow it. Just leave them in the hand of God. They will be fine. Just feed farm. See, me too, I had issues with what they eat, what they will not eat. When they go, they eat this, they eat that. When they are with me, they eat this, they eat that. The children are growing now. When they get there, they tell them the type of food they eat. This is the type of food we want. And then we give them, they don't have, they will eat what they have. So all these, we are really bothered about so many things. Please just let it slide. It's just for a few days, except of course they are going to be there for 1 year. That one
That's
is
where
hard,
you feel
especially
it.
mommy. You will feel it. Me, I said they were only gone for 1 month. I felt it because I don't trust them, but because I'm used to them being around. The house was so quiet. I just wanted my children back. And when I say things like, can my children come home? That gets to him. So I stopped saying it. Because he would ask me, what do you mean by home? This is home too. What do you mean by my children? They are my children too. So I changed it. When are the boys coming? When are the boys coming to spend time with me too? So if your language is not working, change it. Respect the other party. Please, let's be very, respect is reciprocal. When you respect the other party and you carry their spouse along and you let them know you trust and love them and their family, nobody's family. It is well. This co-parenting thing is hard.
Amen.
When my children's school writes to me, they write to me as if I am Mrs. their father's name. So I will call the school and tell the school, please, my name is Mrs. Adeoye. I am not Mrs. Idibia. When you are writing to me, please write Mrs. Adeoye. It is a battle I've not been able to win because they change teachers every time. When another teacher receives them and is writing to them, he will only write to Mr. and Mrs. the children's last name. So there are some battles you cannot just leave it. You know what your name is and you bear your name. Just leave anything that is not working. Just leave it and give it no thoughts or little thoughts, and everything will just fall in line. I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go. Thank you so much. You're such a peaceful lady.
It's a pleasure.
Shows in your word. I can see the comments there. Praise Forward said it shows your identity is intact and you have a sound esteem.
Oh,
That
praise
is just the
God.
totality to it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. And have a
Thank you so
beautiful
much.
time at the wedding and the rest of the weekend.
I will.
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for
Yeah,
having me.
you're
I don't take any
welcome.
opportunity for granted. I authored a
Welcome.
book, Parenting a Creative Child. It's also available on Amazon. I mean, I put my life experience as a mother into that book. And if anybody feels they want to parent purposefully, they can get it, and I also have a book by Mr. Praise Fowuwe. That book is powerful. I have read it and I'm going to recommend it to any parents in this chat room. Everything is going to be fine and our children will become all that we want them to be according to the will and purpose of God for their lives in Jesus' name. Our efforts over them will not be in vain. In Jesus' mighty name. Thank you so much, Ma.
Amen.
God bless
Thank you so much. Yeah, amen. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, 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 wow. So you can follow Sumbo on Instagram. The link has been dropped in the chat box. We move to our next speaker. I want to believe Iwo is here. Okay, Queen Iwo is here. So we move to the second segment, and that's a side attraction. We're going to be talking about exercise and you. Exercise and you, and we have one of the finest fitness coach in the room. Queen Iwo is an international fitness specialist, transformation coach, an excellent communicator, an exceptional ideas and creative person, a speaker and motivator with a heart for people at the center of it all. She is certified by American Fitness and Professionals Associates in Nutrition and Wellness Consultant, a prenatal and postnatal fitness specialist, and also a 200-hour yoga teacher certified by Maduka Yoga Wellbeing Initiative. As a fitness expert and coach, Queen Iwo helps individuals, families, groups, and corporate organizations improve their quality of life for optimum health, peak performance, and productivity through simple, fun, and mindful exercises that impact the spirit, soul, and body. So after Iwo is done with her, she's going to talk to us for like 15 minutes, and Praise Fowuwe will come in. So I want to welcome Queen Iwo to the stage. Hi, Coach. You're muted, please. Unmute yourself.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. Thank you so very much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you. That last session was so inspiring and just a lot to go. God bless our facilitator. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing very great. All right. So as is my custom, every time I have the opportunity to facilitate, we start in a fun way. So if you don't mind, I'm going to play some music and we're just going to move our bodies. Now, I know that some people have not exercised this morning, so this is your opportunity to move your body. You don't have any excuse. So for like 2-3 minutes, we're just going to move our bodies. On the chair, you don't need to stand up, okay? So defy the lie that says until I stand up, I exercise. It's a lie. On your chair, you can actually exercise and have a great time. So just gonna play a song. Tell me if you can hear it, and then we're to dance and then just move together. The whole idea is to make sure you're moving your body, work your muscles. Your muscles are not static, they are meant to move. Like they say, move, okay? All right, so you can start by just shrugging your shoulders all the way back, okay? You want to put your hands here, if you don't mind, and then shrug to the back. Make sure you're breathing in and out. Inhale, all the way back. Take it forward. Exhale. In and out. Good job. And then concentrate your shoulders up and down, up and down. And put a smile on your face, okay? It's a great day to be alive. Good job. Now, gently turn your head this way to the side. And press down a little bit if you don't mind. Make sure you're breathing. Come to center and then to the other side. Take a deep breath. And then you gently roll your head around, forward and backward like 2 times to one side. And then take it around the other side. Fantastic. And this is the time where you just do a little bit of dancing on your chair, okay? So we switch to the side, one to the side, to the other side. Right, good job. How are you feeling? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just down, forward, and out, in and out. Good. Good job. So people are actually going to sweat. They take this seriously. So don't let anybody deceive you that you cannot exercise when you're sitting down. Yeah. Now another thing you can do, you can add steps sitting down. And just match while you're sitting down, up and down, up and down. Good job. Feeling great, fantastic. Okay, now we're gonna punch the tiredness and all the negativity away. All right, so you go punch one and the other side. Good job. Keep breathing in and out. Fantastic. Good, and now we're gonna punch up to the side. Good, other side. Good job. Keep going. Fantastic. Yeah. And now you match up and down, match, and then you take your leg forward, tap forward, and switch forward and back. Good job. And take it to the side. Good. Excellent. Beautiful. Then of course, even sitting down, you can actually work on your arms, right? So sitting up this way, then moving them out. Then you're breathing in, out. Beautiful. Just keep breathing. Pull your belly button towards your spine. And then you can take it to the side. Side, 2, double. Good job. Fantastic. 1 and 2. Count 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And shrug your shoulders all the way. Shrug all the way. Let's take your hands forward. And stretch. And like you're hunching something from the side. So you drop that chin to your chest and then now you come all the way and then you swing your tummy forward, your head all the way to the back. So we're gonna do one more time. All right. And this time you're taking it up and then stretching really high. Right this way. Good. Bring it forward again. Beautiful. Now you take it to the side. One side, stretching. Coming back to center. And now, sitting down, just bring your right hand to the other side of your leg. And then just look backwards, up and go. In that way, and then bring all your head forward, keeping your body still looking that side. That's it. Beautiful. And then to the other side, stretching all the way. And then coming back to center. Beautiful. And then shrug your shoulders in and out. In and out. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in.
Ooh.
Inhale and out. So how do you feel? If you did this, I'm telling you, you'll actually be feeling so like you're feeling like a powerhouse right now. So everyone who did, congratulations. So this is how I usually start my session so that you're powered up and you are excited, to get this energy into your day. So I have just like 10 minutes left and I'll just talk about 2 basic things. Number 1 is, it's very easy to always talk about eat this, don't do that, don't like this, do this, and all of that. But you see, one of the things I'm going to talk about, number 1, is never underestimate the power of a decision you make. All right. So before I go further, I could just say to you, in case those people who didn't, in case there are people who didn't exercise, let me tell you something. You're sitting down, and for the next 2 hours, you will sit down to enjoy this webinar. It will surprise you to know that research says that sitting down for 2 hours every time you do increases the risk of someone's death by 20%. So if you've never thought about that before, just know that every day you're sitting down and sitting down for long hours and not moving this body that God has given you, this is what is happening to you. So the power of a decision. You do not understand how one decision you make can change the entire trajectory of your life. What I am doing today is a function of the decision my parents made when they were in their mid-40s that brought me into this place. And I am so grateful to God for that one decision they made. Now, why I'm talking about the power of decision is the fact that what you come to the place to do, you decide to do, is not just for you alone, it affects everyone around you. Remember that we are parents. So when my parents were in their mid-40s, I think my brother is here, TJ, so he can testify. One day, they just woke up one morning and they said they wanted to do a lifestyle overhaul. They got a nutritionist who came to the house. He stayed with us for about 2 weeks, and we saw our parents eat all kinds of things, do all kinds. It was really hilarious. Like, what are these people up to? But at the end of that experience, because we were watching them literally, I noticed that my parents' skin became brighter. Their energy levels, shot through the roof. They were so excited. It got me intrigued. I got into researching, and that's how I got into this field or what I'm doing today. So taking your health, making that decision to take, your health seriously can change it can change everything about you, and it can change it can actually impact those around you. So today, be honest with yourself. How have I fared with my health? Because if you're not making a decision, you have already made a decision, like it's been said. How have I fared with my health? What have I decided to do? What am I doing? What am I not doing? That is a decision that is affecting my health and total well-being today. That, like I teach and I talk about, the 4 cardinal pillars on, for enjoying optimum health, empowerment. You have mental stability, you have emotional resilience, and physical stamina. So just gently look at all of these areas and then ask yourself. Most times we do very well in mental, we do very well in spiritual, but when it comes to sides, we just relegate it to, I'm not sick, God will take care of me, all will be well. Yes, we know that all will be well, but there is a part you need to play. If you want to enjoy life, you want to enjoy optimum health, you want to really live to fulfill those goals, then you must by all means make that decision. Be serious about your decision, because whether you like it or not, your children are watching you. They are observing you. We will all agree that most of our eating, our eating habits, our lifestyle habits were things that were modeled before us. Okay, for example, when I was growing up, we never really used to be a family that fries. We'd rather boil a lot, and that's something that I've adopted to today. So if you look at your personal life, you would see that there are things you have taken in that were modeled by your parents to you, and whether you like it or not, whether they were I move my body. And the thing is, the good thing about it is it doesn't take so much time, because there is this lie that, when you want to exercise, number one, it has to be painful. When you want to eat healthy, you have to stop eating all the things you love. None of that. It just starts by you start from where you are with what you love, with what you can do, and with time, you can eventually build on. The second thing I'm going to talk about is consistency, okay? So many people, in the craze of, we're in the area where, do this diet, eat this or eat that, and a lot of times people start and then they fall off. Truth of the matter is, engaging in a healthy lifestyle does not happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen in just 30 days. The good thing is you can start habits, you can start those habits, and then you can progress. So it is better to do 2 minutes every day. For example, you decide that in the next 30 days, I'm going to just do like jump jacks for 2 minutes every day, and I'm going to do that for 30 days. It is better you do that than saying, okay, today I want to start a healthy lifestyle, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run for 1 hour. Trust me, chances are that after you run for that 1 hour, for the next 2 months, you are still beefing the experience because it cost you so much pain, your body broke, and maybe for like 1 week, you were not able to get yourself back. So it's important that you start small and then you grow. In fitness, there's something called the law of progressive overload. So you start from where you are, do what you can per time, okay? What is important that you build and not, become a superhero. You build. Everyone who has gotten a 6-pack, everyone who has become I'm sure Praise Forward can also share his own experience when it comes to fitness, how he started. So wherever anyone is, where I am now, I'm here, I'm a function of probably 18 years of doing this. And you say, oh, she's a pro, but I started somewhere. There was a period I couldn't even do a single push-up to save my life. And now I could do 20, 30, in one set, or at once. But I started somewhere. So it's important that you be your own goal. Have things that inspire you, but be your own goal. Start small and be consistent. Be consistent. Don't, and then if you miss a day, don't beat yourself over it, because things happen. All you need to do is, what did I learn from this experience? How did this feel with me? Okay, I didn't do this, or I learned this lesson, and then you just forge ahead. So, and then the very last thing I'm going to talk about is add some fun elements. Okay? One of the things that has really made fitness for me interesting and keeps it going is, I just realized that every time I add something, when I'm not too serious, it helps me to continue. So if, for example, you say, oh, I want to run, and you're very serious, I want to go and run, I must do it this way. Sometimes it causes a lot of tension in your brain. It's putting a lot of pressure on you. But when you are able to just take it easy, take it light, like we did the practice today. I mean, you wouldn't know that you exercise. You wouldn't know that you probably burned maybe 20 calories. It might be little, but hey, that's a great place to start. There was fun. We laughed, we exercised, we danced. So if you start with things that you really are excited about. So if you're somebody who really likes to exercise, for example, if you like to dance, for example, by all means, start by dancing. Do something that is fun, something you enjoy. And then as you begin to get stronger, as you begin to enjoy the benefits of health, you can then, progress into things that can challenge you even more. Personally, I don't like to run. Let me not use that word, a strong word, but I don't like to run. That's not to say I cannot run, but I don't like to run. Secondly, I love shortcuts. So all my workouts are really, really short. I don't do 1 hour. I don't do 45 minutes. My exercises are anywhere between 10, 15, 20, max 30 minutes, and I'm done. So I find ways to get things that are really working. I push myself hard, but the time that I use is short and sharp, and I'm good to go. I'm a mother of 4 children, no help here. So I really need to know how to, to do these things. So basically that's about it. My time is up, I think. So I have just about 1 minute. So in essence, please make that decision. Start today. You have today. Start today. Do not delay, okay? Secondly, be consistent. Start little and then grow over time. And then thirdly, add some fun elements. Start with the things that you love, and trust me, you will definitely, smash your fitness and your health. So here is me sharing you to be fitter, healthier, and happier. And I remain your Savvy Coach with a heart. So if you're thinking of where to start, I have a program coming up next week. It's a 30-day fat belly challenge, and it promises to be mind-blowing. It was my anniversary on Monday, so I'm doing a promo. You may want to jump on it. You can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. All right, the numbers, I think they're there. So you just send me a message, follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll have so much to do together. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Thank you.
you very much. So the questions in the chat box have been answered. So let's join our FitFab and Alive at FitFab and Alive on Instagram. You can see the phone numbers. Can we have the flyer that carries the phone number and the Instagram handle?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
I'll
can
send
see. That's the phone number. It's on the screen already. So you can snap this. You follow her on Instagram. The email address is there. The phone number is there. Thank you so much, Fit, Fab, and Alive. That was a beautiful exercise. The stretching and all. We really appreciate that. Now we move on to the last speaker, but before I call him in, I want to also say that you can follow Family Center on Instagram at Family Center 01. On Instagram, you want to follow us so that you can know what we do. You can have our announcements and all from on our handle. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to bring in the boss himself. I'm going to bring in the boss himself. And because of this special meeting, I'm very sure we have people that are joining us and that are joining us for the first time, that are hearing about us for the first time. And so I don't want to take chances. I don't want to say that you all know him. So permit me to present to some and introduce to others, Mr. Praise Fowowe.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, Coach.
Thank you. Don't read any profile, please. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you very much. One of the areas of concerns for me is co-parenting. And last year, I spent about 7 days, dealing with each and every side to it. And I believe that, Sumbo has done a lot of work, from the practical point of view. And she's made us see that this is possible. In fact, I said to her after our session that we need to sit down and help Nollywood, because the dirty fight, rough fight on social media is almost, it's a cancel generation, everything goes on social media. And I don't think it's proper. The other day I saw a mother telling the son to say after her on social media, your dad is a stupid man. Your father is a foolish man. My dad is, and I was like, what's the meaning of this? So we keep saying all kinds of things. But incidentally, Sumbo touched on something that should worry all of us, because all this dirty fight, have we not noticed that it's basically Africans that engage in this dirty fight? Have we not noticed that we are the ones who go on social media to fight over child? It now says that, it shows that something about our ideology about childbearing is somehow faulty. Some of you have seen the movie Coming to America Part 2. You saw how blended family works, effortlessly, and there was a mutual understanding from the two women, and it was very, very easy to seamlessly navigate that route. Even divorce abroad. I don't want this marriage anymore. Go your way. You don't fight yourself. Go on social media. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to destroy you. You are a 1 minute man and all those things. So it looks like our approach to things is cultural. And if it's cultural, then it means it was learned. If it was learned, then it means it can be unlearned and we can learn a new approach. Now, that is not to say that, there are no toxic spouses. Incidentally, that's what we are dealing with next month, right? So I'll just share briefly what I prepared. There are so many sides to it that I can literally run you through this for 7 days, but I'll just focus on a little bit aspect of it. Now, I love what Ether Extra said. It said co-parenting, it's not a competition between two homes. It's a collaboration of parents doing what is best for the kids. Now, I have defined co-parenting as a process of creating a team-based responsibility towards a mutual goal of getting a child to become the best version of himself after a divorce or separation. Now, if you look at that definition I gave, right, you realize that it's a process. The process is about creating a team-based responsibility. So we don't have to even be good friends for us to play together in a team. Now, if we are ever good friends, it strengthens the bond of the team and we can win faster. Now, however, I have seen situations in a football match where the captain is not in good times with some players, but they are playing together because the goal for the team supersedes your personal agenda or your personal desires or whatever. Now, so when you understand that, it will become very clear to you that most of the things we call the five are self-centered, in nature. Has nothing to do with the child, because in co-parenting, the child is the star, right? In marriage, the two of you are the star. Now, there is no marriage anymore. What we have is co-parent. So it's like two people are coming together to say, let us do a project to get to this destination where the child's future is the destination. So what do we need to do to get the child to this destination? Now, every time self comes into place, the ego in us comes into place, what we are doing is we no longer care about the outcome of the child. I care about myself. I don't mind if the child dies or loses as long as I win. And this is exactly what crisis in a relationship is. So I'll just quickly make some fundamental truths and break it down. Now, number one, love can break down with the love for a child not breaking down. That love can break down. Love breaking down is separation, is divorce. The love for the child must not break down, which is co-parenting. Two, a bad spouse doesn't necessarily translate to a bad parent. That's Africa. We think the moment a man is a bad man, he must be a bad spouse, he must be a bad father. I have seen bad spouses who are good fathers, right? I have seen men who will protect their children, right? But they can sleep with everything and everything, but you will see them protect their children, right? Some of them are excellent fathers, they are bad husbands. Some of them are good men, but you can even be a good man and be a bad father, because fatherhood, motherhood are roles that are optional, and there are skills requirements to handle those roles. So what people say is, oh, the fact that he's a musician, is a playboy makes him a bad father. He may not, because the relationship of fatherhood is father to child and not father to wife. No, it's father to child, right? Now there are aspects of it that can overlap, but a bad spouse does not necessarily translate to a bad parent. Number three, parenting and marriages are two different roles with two different sets of role description. So the job description of a wife, of a husband, is different from the job description of a father. And as a matter of fact, there are two movies. The two movies have two different settings, two different plots, two different storylines, but people don't understand this, so they mix a lot of things together. And that's why they carry the scene from the broken marriage into a new movie called co-parenting. And this is where crisis erupts. Marriage is about the couple. Parenting is about the child. It has nothing to do with the couple, it's about the child, right? So at the point of coming together is two human beings, adults, coming together to say, let us promote what is best for the child, and not about, I love you, you know, you remember what you did to me, you let me alone, and blah, 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 blah. Not creating a proper structure for getting the best out of a child after a bad marriage makes a child the grass that suffer the tantrums of two elements. Now, having said that, now in co-parenting, you need to understand 5 things. 1, with a clear role description specified by an intentional script. So when I work with two people who are falling apart, I help them create a script, right? That the two of them must follow, because without that script, there can't be movie. Everybody begins to play all kinds of roles once the movie script is not clear. Number 2, the main cast is the child, while the two parents are the supporting cast. The main cast, the main character in the movie of co-parenting is not the two of you. The two of you are supporters. So don't get it twisted and pretend as if you are the owners. That's why if you are irresponsible, government can withdraw the child, because the law says that every child belongs to government. So the main cast is the child. And when the child is the main cast, every time you meet, you understand that why we are meeting is because of the child. It's not because of what happened between us. Number 3, everything done outside the interest of the main cast will sabotage the best-selling movie, right? That everything you do against the interest of the main cast, which is the child, will sabotage the co-parenting process. Number 4, it's a different movie, and the pain is irrelevant to the new movie. The pain is real. We must not undermine it. We must not wish it away, but that pain cannot be brought into the new movie of co-parenting. Broken Marriage is a different movie. These are two different movies, right? Co-parenting is a different movie, different location, different script, different cast. The cast in Broken Marriage is husband and wife and two lovers. The cast in co-parenting are two adults who have decided to co-star in a best-selling movie that can produce a world champion or an influencer. Number 5, you don't have to be friends outside the location, but you must be friends within the location. So when we come together, we have to be friends. Outside the location, we don't have to talk. I mean, you have somebody say, she doesn't, I mean, sometimes she doesn't speak to Two-Face in 1 year. That's it. That's a spirit. I don't have to speak to you, but when it has to do with a child, we have got to be friends. Now, having said that, there are about 7 co-parenting process I created. Now, I hope this helps you know, but just follow this. Number 1 is you need to first understand co-parenting. Number 2, you need to move from pain to responsibility. These are different models, right? So why you need to move from pain to responsibility is because if you don't deal with your pain, it will sabotage the best interest. Number 3, you need to do the power of clarity and path integration. What that says is these two people, they want the same thing. However, there is something sabotaging what they want. Father wants a child that turns out right. Mother wants a child that they want the same thing. So you need to align the paths for them to see that they want the same thing. Now, how they go about it is where the problem is. Now, you now need to ask, if we go about it the way we are going about it, are we going to get what we really want, right? You realize that they won't get what they want. So that's why in therapy, we are asking the couple, what do you want? I want a good child. I want a good child. Now, check your behavior. Once your behavior does not align with best practice that can deliver this outcome, then you don't really want what you claim you want. Then number 3 is negotiating bottlenecks. Negotiating bottlenecks is you now identify all the elements that can sabotage the process and negotiate them. Number 5 is number 5 is co-scripting the child. You now need to sit down, maybe with a professional, and create a script that for the movie of co-parenting that the two of you are going to align with. Then number 6 is process measurement, where you now measure the process to know, are we making progress or we're not making progress? Then number 7 is winning together. Now today, I'm just going to focus a bit on negotiating bottlenecks. And within the next 15 minutes, I'll be done so that we can take questions and move on. Now, I want at this juncture to tell you that, trust me, there's a limit to what we can cover here today. But along the line during the week, we got one of our partners who dropped some money and helped reduce the cost. But specifically, this is for people who cannot afford the full fee. So it's not for if you can afford the full fees, please pay. For those who cannot afford the full fees, right? So it cuts off a bit of maybe half the price thereabout, right? So instead of 80, maybe it's a 5 or something like that. You know, what we have is about 40. At some point it was about 30, but people have, that slot has been totally filled. We have about 5 slots left for people who have maybe 40K. Genuinely, you can afford the class, right? So you can fill whatever link they put in there. I believe that will help you, right? And if you want to pay instrumentally, there's another link you can use, you know, to get into class. But trust me, it's 4 weeks of breaking down what you need to do and helping you parent a child that is effective. Now, having said that, how do you manage bottlenecks? 10% of differences in opinion, 90% are due to the wrong tone of voice. This has been proven, you know, with data that, you know, many of us, you know, we get into crisis, but 10% of the conflicts are due to difference in opinion, not due to wrong tone of voice. So you add when somebody was saying that, I mean, Annie Idibia called her to find out what she was doing with Two-Face on phone, and she responded, the tone was what won the argument, not the differences in opinion, right? So you need to understand this. Now, co-parenting bottlenecks are assumed, follow the use of words carefully. assumed, undiscussed, or unresolved bias that promotes the interest of each of the people concerned, but capable of sabotaging the best interest of a child. Co-parenting bottlenecks are assumed. So number one, you are assuming. Number two, so when people say, I know he's a wicked man, I know he's a bad man, I know he will not accept, that self-fulfilling prophecy. Your assumption is going to come to pass for you. It doesn't make it true. Now, undiscussed, people struggle to sit down to discuss things. Then unresolved, people are not able to resolve using every peaceful method of resolving issues, and is a bias that promotes the interest. Both of you are promoting an agenda, right? But that agenda is capable of sabotaging the best interest of the child. Now, there are bottleneck zones. Some of them we're going to resolve them in the 4-week class. One, parenting template and scripting. This is the thrust of the 4-week class that we're doing, right? That my job bottleneck zone is even for people who are a couple, they are not, the marriage has not broken down. They have a major issue here. There's what the husband believes about parenting. There's what wife believes about parenting. They cannot align their template for parenting, so everyone is doing whatever they like. One believes in beating, the other doesn't believe in beating, the other believes in eating chocolate, the other doesn't. So they mess up the psyche of the child. A wholesome child cannot evolve when there is no alignment in the parenting script of the parent. That's why the future of parenting anywhere in the world is scripting system. If you don't understand that scripting system, then you need to be in class with us. Number two, blended family system. How do you handle where the two of you find love and you're not married to two different people? How we've had cases, bad cases, where the new wife cannot accept the children, the new husband cannot accept, but how do you blend the family, right? There's a process to that. Number three, education and special days together, right? So we're going to go for PTA meeting together. How is the partner going to be secure? Will they feel a sense of security, or you won't think, what if they go together and they now go and have sex with themselves, because the feeling can still be there and blah, 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 blah. And we have seen that happen actually. Now, another area of bottleneck is medical decisions and financial commitment, right? To say, we have seen men who have never contributed a dime, waiting for a wedding day to come and show up and say, I'm the father. We have also seen women do that, who have, created a barrier between father and son because the man didn't marry them. Now, medical decisions. These are things that if we don't handle, it can lead to the death of a child. Time split and structure based on expected role, right? What is the time split? How do we share the child? How often does it come to me? How often does it go to you? What is the structure? What is our role when the child comes to us? Social media, internet, and gadgets. Because sometimes in Africa, co-parenting is muscle flexing to show to the child that who loves you more, right? And that is sabotaging. So daddy wants to give iPad. Mom feels it's not yet right. So when child is with mommy, no internet. When he goes to daddy, gadgets galore. Child begins to feel daddy loves me more than mommy, and what have you. Then personal sabotaging habits. There are some of our sabotaging habits, especially pain in our lives, where you shout on the child, transferring the aggression of your lost relationship on the child that didn't know at what point the two of you met yourself. The last thing is faith, right? So let's say father is Muslim, mother is Christian. Now they have separated, or religion changed. One person moved to Guru Maharaji, or even church. One person moved to Sele, the other person moved to Redeem, right? What church will the children be going? Will they go to Sele when they're with daddy, go to Redeem when they're with mommy? These are areas that can mess up the psyche of your child. Now, how do you negotiate this bottleneck? Number one, be open and honest, but be flexible. You need to, I would rather recommend that you get someone the two of you respect, or a skilled mediator, or a family life professional who can sit the two of you down, because once part integration is done, there's clarity to show that the two of you actually mean well. You want the same thing, but the pain in your life is not allowing you move in the direction of what both of you want, right? If you do that, it will help you. Communication is not something that is natural for many of us. So you need to be open and honest, but be flexible. Your way is your way, but your way is not the only way. There are several routes. So you need to make compromises to say, this is what I believe, this is what I think we should do. but I'm willing to try your way, right? Let's check. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, we change. Sometimes you need to lose for you to win, right? Negotiation is said win-win, but sometimes in negotiation, you need to lose for you to win later. Now, the way I say it is this: there's a word called understanding. If you write that word understanding down, it doesn't mean to stand above or to stand at parity. Understanding means to stoop to conquer. It means we stand under, right? That you cannot accurately decipher anyone unless you subject yourself to standing under them so that you can see things clearly. If you stand above them, you will exert a sense of arrogance. If you stand with them, you will push for equality. If you stand under them, you are pushing for wisdom and you will win. So be honest and open, but be flexible. Number two, place every of your position on the scale of love, patterns, and data. What does data say? Forget your opinion. What does statistics say on this issue, right? How does this help a child? Does this pass the test of love? If it passes the test of your ego, then the child is lost. You have won. But if you place it on love to say, okay, based on love, what should I do? Based on patterns, right? The patterns of my past. Do I have a track record of parenting effectively? Was I parented by loving parents, or what does my past say? What are my habits saying, right? My anger, how do I respond to anger? My communication in relationship, who is a better relator? Am I the one? How many friends do I have that are sustained, who are very, very honest with me? Is it my spouse? The person who has better relationship knowledge may be the one to lead, no matter how, whatever you feel, right? So place every position on the scale of love, patterns, and data. Number three, research best practice model and find what works. I'm a stickler for what works. I have gotten to a stage in my life, whatever has not worked for 1 year, I'm discarding it. In Africa, everything in our life, we pretend as if once you pray, everything is going to be solved. So someone is not standing well, pray. Somebody is not, pray. Somebody is, pray. Everything is pray. Everything is believe in prayer, but research is key. You will know the truth will set you free. Find a system that has worked. So Sumba's system has worked. Go and sit with her, learn with her. Can she mentor you and your spouse? Can she have that conversation with you? There is no arrogance to say we will fight a dirty battle. Once there is wisdom that says someone else has been through this and he has done it successfully. What will you be trying to gain? Trying to win at the expense of the child. So research the best practice model and find what works. Number four, take into consideration the communication and decision-making style of your ex. You have been together before marriage broke down. How does it communicate? Is it a forceful communicator, a blunt communicator? You know, with that person, you cannot win in argument with them. So competence is what helps you win with them. If it's a loose communicator, right, then you know you need to be a mother, create an enabling environment, and bypass his conscious resistance to influence him. If it's a slow communicator, it takes its time to make up his mind on anything, right? That's a dependable dependable truck. For that person, you need to be a friend for you to win with them. If it's a systematic fraud, which means it's a data-driven person, then you need to show data with calmness, right? So in talking, you don't talk the way you want to talk, you talk the way they want to receive it. Remember, the goal of talking is creation. You are creating an experience. You are actually selling. So do you want to sell a product and say, I could know that they are not going to buy you, so why are you trying to sell? So in your mind is already biased. I know he's not going to listen. So why are you talking to him? You need to ask, who am I talking to? Who is this customer? What is the right approach? How do I bypass conscious resistance? When he objects, how do I go headlong and face him? No. When he objects, agree with his objection, isolate his objection to find out, is there any reason why this cannot also be possible? Is there another reason why this can? Agree with them, right? Don't look down on them and say, you know, that's how marriage broke. It's going to be, no. You want to win. You need to find the strategy to win. So take into consideration the communication and decision-making style. In fact, because co-parenting is acting, you may need to act some role. Even if you are a Mike Tyson, you may need to pretend or act the role of a peacemaker just to win. right? Because you are in a location, is a script. You need to do everything that promotes the best interest of your child. Even in ordinary parenting, there are 4 or 5 roles you play. You play the role of a scout. First of all, you move to the role of a model. You move to the role of an instructor, which is 3rd level. You move to the role of friend, which is 4th level. And number 5 level, you move to the role of a coach. That takes you to age 18, to which now moves you to number 6 role, which is the role of a cheerleader and a technical advisor. So if you know that you need to change the role, because you can't be in the character of a cheerleader and be playing the role of a model. No, you need to find out what character do I need to get into to win with this guy or to win with this lady. Number 5, take turns in speaking and listening, right? Don't shout above each other, right? Set the ground rules in communication. So listen when the person is talking. If you have any objection, raise your hand and ask, is this what you're saying? Is this what you're trying to say? Why don't you consider this? What if we do it this way? And please, learn to be civil in your communication. Number 6, negotiate a win-win that promotes the best interest of the child. Focus on the child, not whether your decision counts or it doesn't count. Focus on the child. Will this help our child win? Will this promote the best interest of the child? Will it help the child become what the child needs to become? Will it promote love? Will it have the psychology of the child? That is what you must focus on. Number 7, document every agreed plan and stick to the plan. Document everything you agree, right? So that there, in fact, if possible, do a summary of the meeting and send a mail that I want to really appreciate you for this meeting, based on what we shared. Is this okay, or did I miss out on something, right? And so it's documented to say this and this and this were the things we agreed to. And number 8, be grateful for every session and practice mutual respect, especially if you are dealing with someone who is toxic. Toxic people have a need to be worshipped. So if I have to worship you, in quote, to buy a space in your heart and disarm you for me to win with you, I will gladly do that. Sometimes it's not all fight. No. Sometimes when it looks like you are losing, because a man is most vulnerable when he thinks he's in charge. If I need to place you in charge, but I will govern your decision, govern what you're saying, govern what you are thinking, right? I will position as if I don't even want anything, right? If that will help me win, I am willing to do that. That's why in therapy, we help people create strategy that can help them win. Let me say this to you. They have not given back to that human being that doesn't have a mumu button. And they have not given back to that human being that someone who can press his mumu button cannot win with him. So understand. So this is 7 steps that can help you and enhance your winning with your ex, right? Now, if the ex has now proven to be unreasonable, having exhausted everything, having brought in people that you respect and all, then maybe the legal route might be, but it's not always the first option. For the sake of the child, you don't want them to bring in a child to court to be answering questions, and some of the lawyers are very matured in cross-examination. So you want to protect the best interest of the child. Yes, marriage failed, and what sabotage marriage sometimes shows up in co-parenting to sabotage co-parenting. Now, but you need to move against that. What are the effects of not negotiating the bottleneck? Number 1, negative effect on the child's mental health. Now, the child may begin to exhibit worry, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other patterns, right? So, for example, you see some children, really, something that, and you are wondering, you're beating them for stealing. No, they are reacting to the absence of a father or a mother, and the situation has not been well communicated, right? So, negative effects on the child's mental health. Number 2, consistent infighting and warfare that leads to nowhere, right? It leads to bad modeling for the child, because you are not making a headway. You guys are just fighting. The child is wondering, what kind of human beings are this? Number 3, another effect is personal peace compromise that ultimately compromise the peace of the child. Once the two of you are not at peace, the child cannot be at peace, because it's time for the child to go to husband's house. You are saying, as you are going, make sure you don't eat any food there. The wife gives you blah, blah, blah. You are messing up the psyche of the child. You need to trust the process. Now, number 4, competition instead of collaboration. Co-parenting is collaboration. It's not a competition of who loves the child most. If you love the child most and you destroy the child's ability to love, to connect, that when the child eventually gets into marriage, his marriage goes down 6 days, people from dysfunctional home oftentimes create their own dysfunctional home, not because they plan to, it's just out of a self-sabotaging pattern that has not been uninstalled. And number 5, the child ultimately suffers. That is not what you want. Finally, it's immature for two people that once breathed synonymously to disrespect the past because time changed. This is an anonymous quote I found online. It is immature for two people that once breathed synonymously to disrespect the past because things change. Well, I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to assist a little bit on the subject of co-parenting and what you need, especially negotiating. But I just shared one out of the 7 steps, 7 process that will take people through in co-parenting. But I hope to see some of you in class next week, and then we will delve deep down across 4 weeks, 6 modules, you know, on some of the most critical issues on scripting a child future influencer. Thank you very much, Ebu, for the invitation. I hope this has helped their people. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, PF. That was another beautiful one. Really appreciate you. Do we have questions? It's question time. Let's take our questions now. Do we have questions? If you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. And while we wait for people to ask questions, I want you to celebrate my boss now. Say thank you to PF. Drop your love in the chat box. You know, he's always giving us good stuff. And we need more.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Yinka Ogunde. Good
Thank
morning.
you so much, PF. I mean, I just tuned in and I've really, really learned so much today, even though I am a grandmother. So, but I also know that one encounters a lot of these things. And, the speaker was simply awesome. I like that process, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. One of the things that actually came to my mind as I was listening to Praise is that when it comes to co-parenting, you know, I work a lot within the education sector, and that seems to be a hotbed of trouble. And that seems to be something that even a lot of our education counselors are not equipped to deal with. The mother will come to school and say that I have warned you never to allow the dad to be near this child. The father will come and say that, oh yes, this child, I am the one paying the school fees. There's a lot of confusion. Now, there is a particular case that I am dealing with at the moment that was sent to me about 3 or 4 days ago. I wish the lady had been able to join this kind of program. I never knew that this was going to come up. See, our child goes to a top brow school in Lagos, but this, my friend, noticed that the child has not resumed that school since the end of and was still doing online. So I was wondering what is happening. Apparently, the first time the child went to school, the father actually tried to, the father's driver and his entourage or whatever tried to waylay the school bus to take the child from the school bus. And thank God the drivers had the phone, they had the presence of mind to say that, look, if you're going to take this child from the school bus, you will need to go back to the school with us, or else you will need to carry the entire bus to wherever you are taking us to. And of course, I mean, they could not do that. And that child has not been able to resume school. So maybe my question is this interesting point that comes into the school dimension, that in cases of co-parenting, are there rules and things like that that you will advise schools to do in order for them to be able to manage it better?
Thank you very much, Auntie Inka. Thank you so much. That's my auntie. She's always attending everything, everything. Thank you very much. Okay, now the first thing is every school. The problem with many of our schools is they are not evolving with times and new season. So, for
Absolutely.
example, in when LGBT was passed in the US, one of the advice we immediately began to give to the black churches in America is that you need to change the policy of your church to now say marriage shall be between a man and a woman in this church, where a man is a male with a penis, a woman is a female with vagina, you know. And so if you don't do that, a gay couple can present themselves and you will be bound to join them. So the same way, now that there's a lot of marital breakdown, a school policy, especially the child protection system in the school, should have incorporated that clause that says, in the case of so, this is how this is, and on no account will a parent who has not been sanctioned or is registered will be able to pick a child on whatever ground, right? This should have been sorted out within the school policy. Number two, many of the school counselors, unfortunately, are not adequately equipped. You know, number one, they don't have the clout. I don't know what they do to people within the counseling space or the educational space that makes many of the counselors reek with a bit of loss of esteem and insecurity. So, you know, because when you know your onions, and a parent like that, no matter the status, no matter the level, you will be able to cite exactly what the law says. In fact, at that point is where, if you were to be Lagos, that's when you need to bring in Lola Vibor and a team to say, hey, we have a case in here because it involves a child, or you bring the ministry that's in charge, Ministry of Youth and Sport, to say we have a situation, right? And that's why the loss of the lands cannot be compromised, because by the within the ambit of the law, every child belongs to the state. So you cannot just come by coming to say you want to take a child from the bus will be classified as kidnapping. And you cannot do that within the ambit of the law. So the counselors need to be equipped, or the school owners or whosoever the principal is, with counseling skills, mediation skills in situations like, as a matter of fact, what we do right now is to assist schools create a first responding team that can actually carry out some form of therapy and mediation between two warring factors. Because I mentioned path integration. Path integration is where you show the two of them that they want the same thing. So if you want the same thing, would you rather destroy the child in your bid to want what you want? What exactly do you want, right? But the counselor is not equipped to do that. They will just be at the mercy of whatever the parents throw at them. So we need to begin to tell our schools that there are new techniques. The Nigerian producing school counselors and even psychologists cannot power anything. It's where, I mean, psychology is even better. Guidance counseling is way behind what the rest of the world is now doing. But schools now, unfortunately, I know the schools don't prioritize training their counselors because they're always thinking, what if I train this person goes somewhere else? Okay, so if you don't want to train the counselors, and you at least train the school, you the school owner, or the school principal, or the person that you know cannot leave you. Can you train that person to be able to provide this intervention and this communication? Is a major need in our schools, right? Major need. In fact, a lot of churches are also dealing with it. So that's why when we train junior church now, we put checks and balances, because there are situations where the two couple came to church on Sunday, previous Sunday, the next Sunday during the week, they are separated. Now, mother brings child to church on Sunday. Father secretly comes to pick the child during service and takes the child away. Of course, junior church will release the child because they're already familiar with the father and the mother. Now we insist the person with the passcode or the person with the tag that you gave them at the point of entry is the person that can pick out the child, right? But we now even have a situation where the man now secretly plans with someone to steal the tag from the woman's bag during church service. So now we have created another layer that says, should someone that did not bring the child wants to come and pick the child with the tag, you need to call the person that brought the child to confirm. Are you aware? You need to keep double checking. So as situations evolve, our systems need to evolve. That's what I think schools need to begin to do. A lot of schools, we may go to jail in the days to come. I mean, we know Nigeria is not a very strong country with laws, but their systems are too porous. And their people, their counselors cannot handle the magnitude of the cases we are dealing with. Now, if they can't do that, can they at least partner with organizations that can provide that services and refer? I know that Middle Hall was doing that. They would send people to my office, you know, to say, hey, until we get a note from Praise, we're not going to readmit you. You guys go and sort yourself, you know. And so if you create that and make it even impossible for you to now move a child from one school to another, because unresolved issues, you can't take it to another school, it becomes very easy to tackle some of these issues. But the school policies and the child protection system needs to change with the changing times, man. Thank you very much.
I absolutely agree. Thank you so much for that. That was an eye-opener. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. So there's a question. There's a question in the chat box where the person is asking, please, do we get a replay? No. How do you co-parent with a narcissist?
Now we're going to deal with that next week. I mean, next month. That's what we're dealing with next month. But when people use the word a narcissist, I'm always worried. Has it been diagnosed as with someone with narcissistic tendencies? Because we use the word carelessly in Nigeria, where we just read something online, it aligns with certain behaviors, and we say it's a narcissist. You know, so no. That I think Miracle is somewhere here. Miracle, are you here? Miracle, are you in this meeting? Miracle is not. Maybe he has gone. Right?
He was here earlier.
If he has not been clinically diagnosed, right, then you have no right to use that label on anyone. You can say you are co-parenting with a difficult spouse. That is acceptable. But to just slap a label on someone is unacceptable, right? Now, if what you're dealing with is a very, very toxic person, then there are strategies that we can deploy. But you have to understand the role you need to play in deploying the strategy. So what happens is, you know, the guy is difficult, is this, is that, is very bossy, is very bullying, and So you say that, you say all that. Now, what role are you playing in all of this, right? Are you fueling whatever you have known, or are you even working based on the script you have already understand or concluded? You are going to meet him, you know he's not going to accept. You go, then you meet what you projected, then you say, I said it. It's confirmation bias. So there is no human being that is absolutely bad. Not one. Every human being also has a price. That if you are willing to pay that price, then you will win. Number 3, even if it's now a madman, that's where you have the law. The law is there to protect you because the law will always do everything in the best interest of the child. So there are ways there are things you can activate in your own interest. I mean, there was a man like that. We had to activate Lagos State government, and they picked him up. They sent him to my office, right? It was when they picked him up that he didn't even know that there was a law that says it can be picked up for that irresponsibility. You know, so by the time he showed up in my office and he had to go through some kind of therapy, you know, he calmed down and he began to say, sir, this is the greatest disgrace of mine. I didn't know there's a law like this. You know, so a lot of people are not aware that the law is there to protect them, right? So don't suffer in silence. Speak up and get help. However, I am against just the use of one word, you know, and we always use it for men. I hardly see us use it for women. I see every man that is difficult, because what you call narcissistic tendency, a man who is an intimidating woman may manifest those tendencies. Someone whose esteem is not intact can manifest many of those tendencies, right? But let's not be quick to slap a label on someone. It's a description. It's not a label. This is all that exists. Because once you say it's a narcissist, it means he has no capacity to do good. And I don't think that's correct. It means nothing good exists in him. If nothing good exists in him, then it means he can't keep a job. He can't run a business. It means he can't be friends with anybody. It means he's an outcast. And that's not the truth. So oftentimes we focus on what is bad about people and we often exaggerate it. Now, that is not to say your pains are not valid. That's not to say, in fact, someone says that the real problem is the way you see the problem. that if you see the problem in a different way, it takes a new meaning. Now, and human beings are meaning-making machine, right? We create our meaning, and our meaning becomes our experience, right? So there is always a way, if you are willing to bypass that conscious resistance and win with everybody and anybody, including the difficult person. And should you be unable to win, we can activate the law and you can win with the law.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's past 11 now. And with this, we come to the end of March edition of the family meeting. Looking forward to seeing you next month when we'll be treating World War III. World War III, that is co-parenting with a toxic ex. We have all heard what Sumbo said. You've heard PF, and you might have somebody around you that needs to be here next month. Please feel free to share the link with your friends and family to join us next month. And remember to follow us on Instagram at Family Center 01. Thank you so much. I can see Ganiya dropped a message in the chat box. Understanding people's personality and putting them under a label must come with a proper diagnosis. Yeah, absolutely. That was what PF just said. You should understand people, understand before, don't just put label on them. Thank you so much, Ganiya, for that. Quite insightful. Thank you, Oluseyi. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I think we should have a photo shoot. Let's all put on our cameras while we snap. Thank you, Yeti Williams. I can see you are in the room. Thank you, Ife. Thank you, Joy. Joyce, Kendi Adeshina, Kosi, Linda Oko, thank you for joining us this month. Can we all put on our cameras and let me see our beautiful faces, family? Hey, Evelyn. Hi. Adebimpe, hello. And please, I want us to celebrate my Ogao. Let's celebrate PF for this wonderful platform. All he wants is for everybody to be at peace. He wants to start from the family. When the family is at peace, the society will be at peace. That is his way of giving to humanity, and he's doing that so well. You're going to agree with me that he's doing that so well. So Emmanuel, our cameras are on. We can see our faces. Iwo, can you please, let's see your face. Thank you while we round up, and see you next month. Hey, bye. Okay, Emmanuel, are we done? Let's say cheese. Everybody say cheese. And I want to especially appreciate the men that are here. Thank you so much for being outstanding. Thank you for the love for your family, for your children. And that's why you are here. So we really appreciate that. Wemimo Olaguju, thank you. Emmanuel, are we set?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we can take this now. Say cheese, everyone. Thank you. Is that all?
A moment, 1 second, please. Last one.
All right.
Okay, we are good.
Thank you, everyone. See you next month. And remember to follow us on Family Center 01. That is our IG handle. Utsibe, thank you. Utsibe Akman, thank you for joining us. Have a beautiful rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.